Miguel Iturrate back here with the CRP's Wage Rage. I'm joined by our boxing expert, Anthony Scott Piatt, to look at the odds for Errol Spence Jr. versus Mikey Garcia. The fight's just a few days away, and ASP is going to make his picks. Anthony, how you doing?
Doing great tonight. These are fun so far. Calling the zone fight, and now this one. It's a pleasure on this new format. Thanks for having me on it.
And tell people a little bit about your new 10% challenge.
Yeah, so the 10% challenge, I want to. That's a great question. First 100 picks, we were 98-2. 10 of our underdogs. That's what was the key. 10 of those picks were underdogs, and we had no losses. So with that, I thought, well, it's really where you put your money that matters. Yeah, I had 90 wins, but it's the 10 underdog picks I told you to bet that really mattered most. So I came up with a new challenge after 100. We'll quit keeping score that way. The 10% challenge. I want to take a theoretical $10,000. Can we turn it into 100K? So 10% of what we started with, the 10,000, turn it into 100K or bust. How long does it take us? Here's the catch. I'm only going to bet the $100 minimum, and that's also my maximum. So $100 per fight. We're not going to get crazy. If we get it up to 30,000, we're not going to bet 10,000 or 15,000 at a time. $100 on a fight. So maybe we pick as many as 5 or 6 a weekend, and we go from there. Slow and steady wins the race. 10,000 to 100K. Can we do it? 10,000%. You know, 10% challenge.
Definitely very interesting. And let's get into the odds for this weekend. What we're looking at here is the AT&T Stadium in Dallas, Texas, and FOX Pay-Per-View, Saturday, March 16th. And Errol Spence Jr. versus Mikey Garcia in the main event. Garcia plus 325, Spence at minus 400 at the start of fight week. And we're looking at it about 2 weeks out. Garcia was at plus 345 and Spence at minus 430, so money's coming on Garcia. What does that tell you? How are you looking at this one?
I'm really liking this fight. You know, Errol Spence Jr. is a beast. He's won over Kell Brook and Lamont Peterson. He was in trouble with Kell Brook. I want to point that out. And because of that, and because Mikey Garcia is 39-0 with 30 knockouts, he has wins over Robert Easter Jr., Adrian Bronner. I'm going to go with a pretty strong dog watch on Mikey Garcia. Nearly a dog pick. That's how emphatic I want to be about this. Yes, Errol Spence is great. Mikey Garcia at plus 325, 39-0. This is too good to pass up for me, for Mikey. He has to prove to me, and Errol may, and I think he is bound for greatness. But this is going to be just quite a battle. I would stick my money on Mikey Garcia for 100. That's how I'm going to put our 10% challenge 100 on.
Very interesting. Mikey Garcia and his camp started talking about this fight. A lot of people said, "Are you sure? You don't want to do that. Stay in the lightweight division, Vasil Lomachenko. There's challenges there." But they were adamant. They stuck by it. They signed the fight. When it was signed, Spence was a little bit befuddled too. It's like, because, you know, Errol Spence isn't exactly sitting around there getting called out by everybody else. So, you know, he said, someone's calling me out? So it was a fight with that kind of reputation, but slowly but surely the interest of the boxing world and real boxing heads have really picked up for this fight, because Garcia is such a consummate pro that he's attacking this from all angles, and he's convincing people. Just yesterday, Teddy Atlas came out in the news and said he's picking Garcia. He's not the first of a handful of people that are live at the scene of the fight seeing Garcia that are making that pick. So it is very interesting, and we're going to go with the dog pick. Now, going back to Dallas Stadium, they've got a huge night of fights. It looks like 17 or 18 fights. We're going to cover some of the other heavyweight action on there. We got a couple of known heavyweights. I hate to use the word retreads in the United States, but sometimes on the American heavyweight scene, that you got to call it like you call it, you know, and that's the way we see it here. First up off the bat, you've got, in heavyweight 10-round action, you've got Charles Martin. Martin, a former IBF champion. He won the IBF belt when his opponent got hurt, and then 3 months later lost it to Anthony Joshua. So he's just an asterisk type of champion. He's been trying to work his way back. He took a loss to Adam Konacki last September that sort of derailed his comeback. Here he comes back facing undefeated Gregory Corbin. I just don't see Corbin's resume as being anywhere near even Martin's resume. Corbin looks like a notch below. How do you see this one? Because Martin's a minus 450 favorite, and Corbin returning at plus 330.
I really have to agree with you. Charles does not look bad. When he gets in his rhythm, he really can swing. Now, AJ is what he is. He's the champ, and I wasn't surprised about that one. Kanaki surprised me a little bit. It was a bit brutal, but Kanaki stayed tenacious and just simply won the fight. And Gregory, okay, there's not a lot of film on him. I tried to find more. I do know he's been training with some legends, whether that gets you through or not. I kind of like the plus 330. I do the opposite of this one with Mikey Garcia. If you like the Garcia advice we gave out, get on it now. The plus 325 was, as you said, plus 360 or something, especially with Teddy Atlas and folks like that also getting on Garcia. Get on him now. If you hear this podcast and the odds are still in that area, get on Mikey while you can. His odds are going to not get better. The odds for Corbin could get better. I think people will bet Charles Martin more and more. And so, therefore, if I saw Corbin at plus 370 or plus 400, I'd take him at the dog wash at that point. What I saw of him, I liked. He has a type of style that can give Martin trouble. Whether he will or not is yet to be seen. I'm not that impressed with Martin. If I can get him for plus 400, I'm definitely taking Corbin.
Well, the bottom line is when you look over the pond in England, there are a lot of minus 3,000 lines and stuff. Here you've got a former champion against a relative unknown, and the line is very tight, and the bottom line is because Martin and Corbin both still have a lot of questions to answer. The bottom line here is Corbin, 15-0, only 3 opponents with winning records throughout his entire career. So you have to say that Martin is a step up for him. Moving on to the heavyweight division, you've got another 10-rounder there with, now you think Charles Martin's a little bit of a retread. Well, we got Chris Arreola back, and Arreola, a former challenger to Deontay Wilder's belt. He's also fought the likes of Vitaly Klitschko. He's a real veteran, and Arreola, despite the knocks on him, has been a real dog, too. He's actually could be a very tough type of opponent for somebody. He ran into a brick wall named Bermain Stivern, that derailed his previous comeback. Here, he wants to make one more run at it, and he faces Pierre Augustin from Heady, I believe, and he's also undefeated, but not a lot that we can say about his opponents, though he has more than 3 opponents with winning records on his record. Arreola is coming in at minus 350, Augustin at plus 260. Any dog bite there?
Well, here's the thing. Only 3 of the last 8 fights for Arreola have been victories. Only 3 of 8. 2 to Stivern were losses. As you pointed out, he lost to Klitschko and Adamek and Wilder as well. But of his last 4 fights, he's had a draw, a no contest, a loss, and then his only win was against Marenzo Smith, who's a 20-10-4 opponent. So, in other words, he hasn't really won a fight in 5 to 10 fights that's meant anything. So, and he's getting up there. I question this one because of that. Humberto Soto is not great competition, but it was a good fight with Augustin. I've seen Humberto fight a few times. He's not a bad opponent. He's not great. But it's a huge question mark. He's a plus 260 right now, Jean-Pierre Augustin is. If I could get that up to, again, these are strong dog watches and weak dog watches. This is a bit of a weak one, but if I can get plus 300 on him, I would take this one. So, I'm taking a lot this week, but some of them are strong. Take Garcia, take some of the others. This one's a little weak, but again, if you can get it maybe at plus 300, I still like the fight. I don't trust that Chris is not past his prime, and I don't think he can make it back. I
understand. And the last line that we're going to look at here on AFP's Wage Rage Picks here is super middleweight action of 10 rounds. And we've got David Benavidez, still kind of the up-and-comer, although, he's already accomplished a lot. He's facing veteran Jayleon Love. Jayleon Love, getting into some ring time here as a big underdog at plus 600. Benavidez, minus 900 favorite. How do you see this one?
I mean, this is probably one of the more solid fights of the night, definitely of this card. Benavidez looks really good. He looks really powerful and really sharp at 20-0, 17 knockouts. Having said that, there's a lot of good sportsmanship between the two of these. They've been in the same training camps before as well. These guys respect each other. I expect this to be a good sporting fight, and for both of the guys to give their all. I expect Benavidez to win this one pretty handily. I really wouldn't put very much money on this one at the plus 600, just for the sake of the fact that I've picked all other 6. I'm going to go for 7 for 7 and pick Guilherme Love for a very far stretch of a dog watch. People, don't waste your money on this. I'm playing around here a little bit with this one, but I think Benavidez might be tested by a guy who's been in his camp and knows all his ins and outs and has actually sparred with him quite a bit and is a real game opponent, veteran. So it's not a ridiculous pick, but it's not my strongest pick of the night.
And but those are the picks for this Saturday, March 16th at the Dallas Cowboys Stadium and on Fox pay-per-view. The main event, welterweight world title action as Errol Spence Jr. takes on Mikey Garcia. I've been joined by our boxing analyst, ASP Anthony Scott Piatt, to make picks on some of the fights for this Saturday night.